One Sunday morning, we're filming people arriving for the service at Fokwelle Lutheran Church. The congregation, mostly female, gathers one by one. Pastor Giddings strains to be heard over a loud commotion outside the church. Two young farmers have found a calf that was wounded by an angry farmer who surprised it eating crop rice. Everyone recognizes the calf as belonging to Carboy, the town chief. The two men take it to Carboy's house. Once again, ordinary farmers and the cattle owners are in conflict. Carboy is asked what he's going to do. This dispute, this palaver, isn't anything we can air right now, he says. There's nothing to discuss. All we can do is to call in somebody to look into it. I can't hear a case where I'm one of the parties. We'll take it to the clan chief. Carboy tells the people to put the calf inside a nearby unfinished house to shade it. He goes off to the clan chiefs. Someone has cut my calf and the people brought it to me. The tail was cut, Carboy explains. How badly was the tail cut? So badly that it's hanging off. The calf's right here in town, so you can go to see for yourself. Is that the calf? The clan chief asked. Yes, that's the one. The clan chief speaks of the earlier time when his father was living and another beast had been wounded. All right, says the clan chief, I'll reach the matter to Paramount Chief Wual. He'll probably send to the county seat for an ordeal operator and use an ordeal to find out who did this. The clan chief's messenger leaves to take the clan chief's request to the paramount chief. Carboy's anger subsides somewhat. He's momentarily content, knowing that action is underway. At the place where the clan chief and his friends are building a pavilion to dry peanuts, the discussion about the case continues. The usually affable Suaquella Jow says nothing. Will they be able to settle the case before the ordeal operator comes? They all know that an ordeal is a ritual for supernaturally determining guilt or innocence. In the Sassywood ordeal, now outlawed, suspects drink a poison. The guilty die, the innocent vomit the poison. In the hot oil ordeal and the hot knife ordeal, The guilty are burned, but the innocent are not. The ordeal operator's ritual power works through the mechanism of the ordeal to select the guilty person. However, ordeals are seldom used in Fokwelle. Most disputes are settled through the use of witnesses and cross-examination. Someone else observes that the cut on the calf's tail looks as if it had been made by a hooked machete. The men ask which of the people who farm near the place where the calf was cut has a machete with a hook on the end. Perhaps, an elder says, the ordeal won't be necessary. Perhaps the guilty person will confess or give himself away. As the other men in Fokwelle measure off lengths of wood, everyone thinks about the ordeal. On the day set for the ordeal, 10 days after the calf was wounded, the paramount chief arrives, and we're almost out of color film. We use black and white. Wearing his Homburg hat, Paramount Chief Wua walks through the town to the clan chief's compound and past Dolo Kanpei's grave. The men sit on the porch talking about the case. In honor of the special nature of the occasion, the clan chief presents a goat to the paramount chief. This is to welcome him and to thank him for the special interest he has shown in the case by sending for the ordeal operator. The gift of meat expresses hospitality and loyalty. Cattle are used in the same way to express hospitality and loyalty to the most important political figures like the President and Vice President of Liberia. When used in this way, the chief's cows are a source of prestige for all the people in the chiefdom. The men's mood becomes more relaxed. They wonder what the film will look like. Your picture will go all the way to America, the clan chief says. Sure, says Wua, so will the goat's picture. They begin to talk about the ordeal. The clan chief has ordered the men who farm near the place where the calf was cut to stay in town to submit to the ordeal. The ordeal man is already in town. He arrived night before last. The men leave to go to Carboy's place where the ordeal will be held. Wearing knickers and a pith helmet, the ordeal operator arrives with his interpreter. The ordeal operator, David Cannibal, is called, respectfully, Old Man David by the Fokwelle townsmen. He's certified by the central government as a licensed ordeal man. He's a member of a distant tribe, the Krahn. The old man uses a younger man, Matthew Kennedy, as his clerk and interpreter to translate for him, although he understands and speaks Bella well. The mystique of his office is enhanced by the fact that he uses an interpreter. People from all over town have gathered for the ordeal. The calf has died. Who has been daring enough to chop it, they wonder? Will the ordeal catch him or an innocent person? What will the chiefs, who are also cattle owners, do if the guilty person is found? Old Man David orders the clan chief's messengers to start a fire in the doorway of the unfinished house where the wounded calf died. He'll use the hot knife ordeal. Kpelle called the old man's paraphernalia medicine, not in the pharmaceutical sense, but in the supernatural sense. They're objects with supernatural power, which if properly used by a person with the requisite knowledge can bring about desired results. The most important of the objects in David's paraphernalia is the knife. It will be heated in the fire and held against the skin of the suspects. The innocent will not be burned. The guilty will be. The old man makes a magical gesture around the fire. Again, he makes a similar gesture. The knife is ritually prepared. The old man places a bracelet made of an inner tube to which is tied a feather on his wrist. In the ordeal, the old man will rub his leg with the various magical substances and with water from the bucket next to him. Next, he will repeat the procedure, rubbing the various substances on the leg of the suspects. He'll rub his leg and then theirs with the hot knife. The paramount chief has selected a man to represent Fokwelle. The aim is to decide first whether or not the person who slashed the cow is a resident of the town. If the man representing Fokwelle is burned, this will mean that someone from Fokwelle is the guilty party. If the proxy is not burned, this will be a resident of another town. When the proxy steps forward, the old man will address him through Kennedy, his interpreter. If it's a Fokwelle person who cut the cow, this knife should catch you, the old man says. But the ordeal should not catch you for other things. If you have a witch backing you, a big fetish backing you, or anything else magical backing you, the ordeal should not catch you for that. But if it's a Fokwelle person that cut the cow, then the knife should burn you. The paramount chief says, if you know anything about this wounded cow matter, don't move your leg from there. Magical gestures with 4 red feathers emphasize the chief's words. David strokes his own leg, then the proxy's. There, says Carboy, he's burned. A Fokwelle person slashed my cow. Test the suspected farmers one by one, say the chiefs. Wait, says old man David. There's a man who came to see me last night. His name's Kpelle People. Ask him what he proposed when we were all alone. Be quiet and listen, the paramount chief shouts. The old man's telling me something important. You children, get back. Kpelle People, where are you? Come forward. Kennedy interprets for old man David. The old man says Kpelle People came to him last night. Jal said, I want you to help me. I'm the one who cut the cow. Then he offered the old man $2 to use the ordeal to show that someone else was guilty. What? Exclaims Paramount Chief Waugh. Who in this town is such a slave that the old man should take the palaver from your head and drop it on theirs? No one, murmurs Jow. Perhaps you want the ordeal to catch me, mocks the Paramount Chief. Kpelle People speaks in a low voice. The thing this cow did is too much. The way it's been eating rice on my farm is a terrible thing. His excuse is not sufficient, exclaims Clan Chief Pei. Why didn't he bring the matter to me? How can I settle my people's palavers if they don't bring them to me? You're right, says the Paramount Chief. Kpelle People should have laid the matter before you and asked you to take it up with Carboy. Then you could have asked Carboy to pay Jow something because of the rice that the cow ate. The Paramount Chief orders his messengers to detain Jow until he, the chief, can determine what indemnity should be paid to Carboy. The messengers haul Jow back and forth, holding him up as an example to anyone who would take the law into his own hands. Carboy explodes. It's a terrible thing Jow did. Since he didn't take the matter to court, he's forfeited any claim to compensation for the rice. The crowd scatters. The culprit has been revealed. And old man David leaves, his energy spent. The next morning, the rainy season downpour resumes, and we use our remaining color film. The townsmen return to their normal routine. There's relief and satisfaction that the ordeal has worked. The supernatural principle has operated properly. For the people of Fokwelle, the utility of the ordeal has been demonstrated again. Most people are confident that the ordeal would have turned out the same way, even if Kpelle People had not confessed beforehand. We anthropologists speculate about the ordeal mechanism. Does the ordeal operator sense tension as his fingers stroke the suspect's legs? And what do his eyes, hidden by dark glasses, watch for? But the tensions between cattle owners and ordinary farmers remain. The farmers never know when their crop will be devoured by the cows, when the well-being of their families will be jeopardized. Nor can farmers be sure if this happens that the chiefs, who themselves are cattle owners, will always give them fair redress. So the tensions remain, as do the cows, and the farmers' knowledge that from time to time, the chiefs will see to it that the people can garnish their rice with beef from the cows of Dolo Ken Pei.